Right, let's move on to other business for the podcast for this 25th episode. Start that bit again. Edit. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Right, let's talk about other things. We're going to talk about donkeys at Peterborough Cathedral. We're going to talk about Mastermind. Should we talk about what? Should we do the cabinet story next?
I just want to mention something that I'm doing with Peterborough City Council called Ask the Cabinet. Now, some people may have some questions for cabinet members. That's the ruling part of the Peterborough City Council, leading part, if you like. So we're going to be doing a series of interviews with Mohammed Farouk, who is the leader, and John Howard, who is the deputy leader, and any other cabinet members. A series of interviews with them where people can pose their questions to them. We've had quite a few already. Some very interesting news coming up about Queensgate bus station that will be revealed very soon about some of the repairs, if you like, renovations there.
I walked past, in fact, through the Peterborough bus station very recently, and it did make me feel quite sad. I know that the toilets are going, there was talk about that, but just the feeling you've got of that whole walk from one end to the other, it's such a depressing
and it's
place.
The first place that a lot of people enter Peterborough. So I'll be recording that this Friday, and it'll be going live next week, so early March for people who are listening. And it's worth doing. And I should just point out, by the way,
people want to hear what the council leader has to say. People want to hear what the plans are, what the big ideas are,
and some
for
people
improvement.
Won't have heard him. I mean, they'll be very used to obviously listening to his predecessor Wayne Fitzgerald and listening to him. Obviously, Mohammed Farouk was a Conservative, now an Independent. Same with John Howard as well, of course. And just very quickly, I will point out that the last interview we did on this very podcast with Nick Carter, who's the Director of Growth and Regeneration at Peterborough City Council, has done ridiculously well on TikTok. We have literally had thousands of views.
Over 4,000
of that. Of the clips. So people are interested in what councillors and council staff and officers have to say. And as I said, if you want to, ask the cabinet at peterborough.gov.uk, you can submit your questions.
Next, Jibo Art, Sacrawell?
Yeah, well, formerly of Sacrawell, which is quite a big part of this. So Roland Burr, who's an artist, he's moved around Peterborough quite a bit, and he now has a pop-up shop at Queensgate. Was previously at Sacrawell. He comes from North Yorkshire originally as part of a large Caribbean family, and has created this wonderful art. And it's just as you go in, just near the Boots section of Queensgate. Sacrawell has got rid of quite a few of their sort of creatives there for various reasons. New management, I think it is, have decided to move in a different direction. I went in to see Roland at the end of last week. He's delighted with Queensgate's setup. And it kind of, I guess, complements Unity and the many crafts that are taking place in there as well. The pop-up shop for 50 businesses, which has been just so well elsewhere in Queensgate. So if you get a chance to go in and see Roland, and he's a fantastic person as well, he's very charismatic, very engaging, go in and have a quick chat with him.
You can actually probably get involved in, a bit of crafting, a bit of art. I mean, it looks like a place where he's welcoming to anyone interested in art.
Well, anyway, you can get involved in art. Also, if you're a school, for example, who wants them to go and deliver a session there, that can be possible, or a charity or a business, etc. And you will see it's very bright, very vibrant, and very good fun as well. So if you have any creative urges and you see him in Queensgate, go in and have a chat, and you won't regret it.
Let's talk about donkeys at Peterborough Cathedral briefly. It was such a funny story when it first came out. Oh, the donkeys are retiring. Peterborough Cathedral are looking for anyone with donkeys so that they can have their Easter parade with actual donkeys. It ended up with quite a positive resolution because the 2 donkeys that were retired from last year have come out of retirement and are actually going to do it. And they've actually found a 3rd donkey as well. So all of the big kind of, shortage of donkeys and this appeal for donkeys to help Peterborough Cathedral out ended up being a bit of a non-story because the donkeys from last year have come out of retirement.
They just didn't want to give up, did they? Like, an old footballer who just didn't want to give it, or a boxer or something. There's one more crack at the big time.
I just wonder how much say they had in it.
They're
donkeys.
Yeah, I know. I mean, maybe they gave a yay or a nay, as it were. And it would be lovely to see them again. Maybe this will finally be it, the final, last time. But who knows? As you say, they don't really have much of a say in the matter, I imagine.
I'm sure there's loads of donkey jokes we could do, but we're going to skim past all of them. Still with the cathedral, a couple of things I want to mention. At the time of recording, it's Wednesday, 20th of February. This coming weekend, it's a huge weekend for Peterborough Cathedral because they are going to install the new bishop, Bishop Debbie. And I was chatting to Canon Tim, the Vice Dean of the Cathedral, and he was just saying, there's such excitement. There's going to be about 1,500 people crammed into the cathedral this coming weekend for the installation of the new bishop. And it's a really exciting and positive time for the cathedral. And I guess just tying it all in nicely, there's one of the volunteers from the Peterborough Cathedral who's been doing rather well on Mastermind.
Yeah.
Have you been following this story?
Yeah, I have. It is Stephen Dodding who, yes, he managed to get through the first round. It was sort of a very good performance in the first heat. And then he got to the semi-final and just missed out on a place in the final. He scored perfectly in the first round. Medieval Cathedrals in the first show. And then moved on to questions on Genesis, appropriately.
So when I was talking to Canon Tim about it, Canon Tim thought it was the book from the Bible.
Yeah.
No, it was songs, hits for Genesis,
Phil
the pop
Collins,
group,
yeah.
from 67 to 77. And he was brilliant at that. Unfortunately, he let himself down a little bit with the general knowledge questions where he wasn't quite as successful. But Stephen Dodding, hats off to you, one of the Peterborough Cathedral volunteers, doing brilliantly, flying the flag for the city on Mastermind.
What would be your Mastermind subject?
Probably the life and times of J.R. Ewing from Dallas.
Yeah.
Because I know everything about Dallas.
Okay.
So it'd probably be that. What about you?
Mike Tyson. You wouldn't have thought that, would you? Loved heavyweight boxing. I grew up with Tyson. Not the nicest of people outside the ring, inside the ring, absolute murderer.
Yeah.
November 22nd, 1986, when he first won his world title.
Okay, so that would be. You just wanted to just show off your.
Yeah,
Mike
I did.
Tyson.
Mike Tyson, Red Dwarf, massive fan of Red Dwarf back in the day.
Interesting.
So I got, but I have to do some revision first.
Now let's finish the podcast with a chat about a court case that caught your eye regarding, well, a man with his fake crutches.
Yeah, not something we normally talk about on here, crime, is it? But this one is such an unusual crime. And with a video as well, Peterborough Police shared this. So this was a while ago in Peterborough, a robber who essentially used a crutch as a sort of false walking help, went into a shop, asked a shop worker for a drink from the cabinet behind, and then when she turned around, he smacked her with a crutch. Now, which obviously isn't very nice, terrible really. But what's unusual about it is that as he came around and picked his stuff out and then tried to get outside, she'd got outside before him and smacked him in the face several times with a shoe. Now, obviously, it's probably not recommended to attack criminals back when they've got a weapon. But if you watch the video, my God, did she give him... I would say she'd give him some welly, but actually it was just a shoe. And really smacked him. And in the end, he managed to escape. But the CCTV caught him and the police arrested him shortly afterwards. He would have got away with a lot more. He got on his bike and got away with, I think it's about £450 worth of stuff or so. But he would have got away with a lot more if this brave shop assistant hadn't absolutely fired back at him. As I say, the video, it is quite amusing. Like I said, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that people attack people like that and fight back against them. But on this occasion, she did the business, and he went away on his bike with his tail between his legs, if it is possible to do that on a bike.
And there we leave it for this episode 25 of the Peterborough podcast. Thank you so much for listening to us. It was very heavy football led this week, but I just think it was good to do that at this point in time when Posh are flying and on the cusp of greatness
in
again.
The playoffs,
hopefully
going to Wembley, good times.
We will see you next time for the Peterborough podcast.